There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was blameless and upright, and one who feared God and shunned evil. And 7 sons and 3 daughters were born to him. Also his possessions were 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 female donkeys, and a very large household, so that this man was the greatest of all the people of the east. And his sons would go and feast in their houses, each on his appointed day, and would send and invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. So it was, when the days of feasting had run their course, that Job would send and sanctify them. He would rise early in the morning, and offer burnt offerings according to the number of them all. And Job said, It may be that my sons have sinned, and cursed God in their hearts. Thus Job did regularly. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. And the Lord said to Satan, From where do you come? So Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro on the earth, and from walking back and forth on it. Then the Lord said to Satan, Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God and shuns evil? So Satan answered the Lord and said, Does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not made a hedge around him, around his household, and around all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But now stretch out your hand and touch all that he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. And the Lord said to Satan, Behold, all that he has is in your power, only do not lay a hand on his person. So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. Now there was a day when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking in their oldest brother's house. And a messenger came to Job and said, The oxen were ploughing, and the donkeys feeding beside them, when the Sabaeans raided them and took them away. Indeed, they have killed the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, The fire of God fell from heaven and burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them. I alone have escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, The Chaldeans formed 3 bands, raided the camels and took them away, yes, and killed the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, Your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house, and suddenly a great wind came from across the wilderness, and struck the 4 corners of the house, and it fell on the young people, and they are dead, and I alone escaped to tell you. Then Job arose, tore his robe, shaved his head, and fell to the ground, and worshipped, and said, Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return there. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In all this Job did not sin, nor charge God with wrong. My name's Arthur, and I thank you for joining me as we share together the beginning of the book of Job. The book of Job is the account of a debate between Job and 3 knowledgeable men of his acquaintance, as they considered the disasters that happened in Job's life. It's addressing the issue which is still an issue for many people today. If God is good, why do bad things happen? And some answer this by saying, well, there is no God. Others by saying God is not good. Others by saying that God is weak. But the scriptures declare that God is good, that God is all-powerful, that God is the creator, and does not shy away from the fact that God accepts responsibility for all things that happen on the earth. And so this book is an opportunity for us to explore these issues with Job and his friends. Job belongs to the period somewhere around Abraham, well before the time of Moses. One of his friends is Eliphaz the Temanite. Teman is a city 500 kilometres south-southeast of Jerusalem, so that's in Arabia. But we've read of an attack by the Chaldeans, and they lived along the Euphrates River. And so he lived in the Middle East somewhere, and was one of the greatest men of the East, and could be a descendant of Abraham, Isaac and Esau. But there is also an earlier man called Jobab, descended from Shem, also in the family of Eber, mentioned in Genesis chapter 10. We're told that Job was the greatest of all the people of the East. So this gives a general setting that it's maybe Arabia, east of Jerusalem, which is the land of Uz. He, as a great man, ends up being recognized as their king, as an authority, as a great elder among them, one to whom great respect is given, having great wealth, but also great wisdom. In Genesis chapter 10, verse 21, we read of the children of Shem, the father of all the children of Eber. The sons of Shem were Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. And the sons of Aram were Uz, Hul, Jether, and Mash. Job lived in the land of Uz. Arphaxad begot Salah, and Salah begot Eber. And so the genealogy there is Shem, Arphaxad, Shelah, Eber, from which the name Hebrews comes. To Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days the earth was divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. Abram was descended from Peleg, but Joktan begot 12 sons, the last of which is Jobab. So maybe this Jobab is the Job that we are speaking about. We're introduced to Job as a man of great wealth, but also as a man of great character. He was blameless and upright, one who feared God and shunned evil. In other words, he was very careful not to do anything that was wrong, and he was very conscious that his sons or daughters may have done something that was wrong as well, and so he continually sought the Lord on their behalf as the priest of his family. And the Lord blessed him with great wealth. The family regularly came together in fellowship. In a rotation, the various sons hosted the rest of the family for a feast, which ran for several days. And when this was happening, Job was delighted with it, but afterwards he would offer burnt offerings and sacrifices to the Lord according to the number of them all. We see this idea of sacrifice is very dominant in the thinking of Job and so of the people at this time, as a means of seeking reconciliation with God. The other thing that gives us an early date for this book is the way that Satan is represented. He is called Satan, but he is gathered with the sons of God. And in the early part of Genesis, the phrase sons of God is used to refer to the angels who were present at creation. It was the sons of God who came to the daughters of men before the flood and produced children, which were the great men of the earth. These unnatural marriages were a strong component of the reason that God judged the world with the flood. And those angels, Peter tells us, are now held in chains and prevented from continuing their ways. We have a scene in heaven when the angels, the sons of God, present themselves before the Lord, and Satan is one of them. And God challenges him concerning Job.